Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Thursday, July 25th, 2019. We start off with some breaking news out of the WWE. Just days after his DUI arrests were spoofed on Monday Night Raw, TMZ.com is reporting that Jimmy Uso has once again been arrested on suspicion of DUI. The arrest took place early Thursday morning in Pensacola, Florida. TMZ noted details surrounding the arrest are unclear, but here's what we know so far. The 33-year-old was booked at 3:04 a.m. and the charge on the police website says DUI, driving with an unlawful blood alcohol level. And with an update on Jimmy Uso's latest arrest, the WWE issued the following statement in regards to that, which is actually the same exact statement from his previous arrest, and the same exact statement that the WWE used for Jeff Hardy's DUI arrest just a couple of days ago. The WWE said, Jonathan Fatu is responsible for his own personal actions. Uso was held in a drunk tank and was released after paying his $1,000 bond. Uso has a court appearance scheduled for August 15th. TMZ.com noted the following from police. Uso was speeding when an officer got behind him and noticed he was driving erratically and swerving left and right. We're told when the cop pulled the wrestler over, he reeked of alcohol, and when the officer tried to administer DUI test on Uso, he refused. Uso was then arrested on a DUI charge and we're told he was also hit with a speeding citation. Stay tuned to Jammin John's Wrestling News for any further breaking news updates on this story. The WWE sent out the following press release today. WWE reports second quarter 2019 results. Second quarter 2019 highlights. Revenues were $268.9 million as compared to $281.6 million in the prior year quarter. Operating income was $17.1 million. Adjusted OIBDA-1 was $34.6 million, which exceeded the company's guidance. Announced content distribution deals with BT Sport in the United Kingdom, Fox Sports in Latin America, and PP Sports in China, providing strong platforms for reaching WWE audiences. WWE Network average paid subscribers were 1.69 million paid subscribers, consistent with the company's guidance. Digital video views increased 17% to 9 billion. Hours consumed increased 22% to 324 million hours across digital platforms, and social media followers increased 10% to over 1.2 billion. The company initiated the transition of WWE Network to a new platform on July 24th, which will provide users with a better experience, a more intuitive interface, and enhanced search functionality. The new platform enables the introduction of new features and experiences over time, including the addition of free and premium tiers as well as the localization of content in multiple languages. Produce more than 90 hours of original network content, including live in-ring programs and talent documentaries, such as The Shield's Final Chapter and WWE 24, The Year of Ronda Rousey, respectively. The WWE today announced financial results for its second quarter earnings ending on June 30th, 2019. During the quarter, we made progress on key strategic initiatives, said Vince McMahon, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the WWE. We completed content distribution agreements in key international markets, prepared for the next phase of our WWE Network service, and achieved steady improvement in engagement metrics. As indicated previously, we remain excited about the future, particularly with our debut on Fox in October. George Barrios, the co-president of WWE, said, in the quarter, our earnings exceeded guidance. However, we anticipate a portion of this to reverse and we continue to target full-year adjusted OIBDA of at least $200 million. The guidance presupposes the staging of a second large-scale international event and the completion of a media rights deal in the MENA region. As we optimize near-term results, we will continue to focus on content creation, localization, and digitization, including the evolution of our direct-to-consumer network to drive long-term growth. Revenues declined 5% to $268.9 million from $281.6 million in the prior year quarter, with lower revenue from the company's media, live events, and consumer products business segments. Operating income decreased to $17.1 million from $21.2 million in the prior year quarter, reflecting the decline in revenue and the impact of certain strategic investments, as increases in other fixed costs were partially offset by a year-over-year reduction in accrued management incentive compensation. The company's operating income margin declined to 6% from 8% in the prior year quarter. Adjusted OIBDA, which excludes stock compensation, was $34.6 million as compared to $43.5 million, and the company's adjusted OIBDA margin was 13% as compared to 15% in the prior year quarter, respectively. The current period results exceeded guidance primarily due to enhanced revenue recognized in conjunction with the company's recent event in Saudi Arabia, which is expected to reverse in connection with an anticipated fourth quarter event in that country. Net income increased slightly to $10.4 million, or 11 cents per diluted share, from $10 million, or 11 cents per diluted share in the second quarter of 2018, reflecting reduced losses on equity investments and a lower effective tax rate. Effective tax rate declined to 25% from 31% in the prior year quarter. Cash flows used in operating activities were $7.6 million as compared to $74.2 million of cash generated in the prior year quarter, driven by unfavorable changes in working capital, which was primarily related to the timing of the Saudi event in June, as the prior year event was held in April, as well as lower operating performance. Free cash flow was a $27.5 million use of cash as compared to a $66.4 million source of cash in the second quarter of 2018, primarily driven by the change in operating cash flow and, to a lesser extent, a $12.1 million increase in capital expenditures, primarily associated with the company's workspace plan. Cash, cash equivalents, and short-term investments were $296 million as of June 30 of 2019, and the company estimates debit capacity under its revolving line of credit of approximately $200 million. During the first quarter 2019 earnings call, the company discussed the absence of several talent and the belief that these absences had a negative impact on the company's engagement metrics. Since the end of April, the company has achieved steady improvement in key measures. Domestic TV ratings for Monday Night Raw declined 14% in the first quarter 2019 from the prior year quarter, but improved to a year-over-year decline of 11% in June. The improvement in June occurred despite a tough comparison to Game 5 of the NBA Championship on Monday, June 10th. Similar to the ratings declining for Monday Night Raw, domestic TV ratings for SmackDown declined 13% in the first quarter 2019, but improved to a decline of 7% in June, consistent with the ratings performance of the top 25 cable networks, which declined 7% during the month. Consumption of WWE content across digital AVOD platforms rose from a year-over-year increase of 23% in the first quarter to growth of 28% in June. Finally, average attendance at the company's live events in North America, which declined 12% in the first quarter, improved to a decline of 4% for the June period and was only down 2% for the second quarter of 2019. Also, during today's second quarter investors call, Vince McMahon addressed WWE's creative direction and brought up All Elite Wrestling. McMahon said, "We just haven't come anywhere close, actually, to going to another level. There will be something we do in terms of a direction of content, more controversy, better storylines, etc. But at the same time, we're not going to go back to the, quote, Attitude Era, and we're not going to do blood and guts and things of that nature, such as being done on perhaps a new competitor. We're not going to go back to that gory crap that we graduated from." And on All Elite Wrestling, Vince McMahon said, "I can't imagine TNT will put up with that." Thanks to TheWrap.com for the quotes. Twitter account at WrestleVotes noted the following regarding this past Monday's Raw reunion. WrestleVotes tweeted on Twitter, "Source says backstage at TV this week there was a overall great feeling, almost like a refreshing vibe. The attitude and demeanor of the legends at Raw was that of appreciation. This is a change from recent weeks, which can only be considered a good thing." Also, former WWE star Caitlyn was one of the legends that publicly praised the show by going on Instagram and writing, "For me, Raw Reunion was such a beautiful reminder of how much wrestling has impacted my life. So much has changed, but even more things remain the same. I am so proud of how far women's wrestling has come, and even more proud to be a part of the Divas era. Look how far we have all come. All of the hard work, scrappy moments, failures, triumphs, and life lessons shaped me. I'm so grateful for all of it, including the top of the world stuff to all the really ugly stuff. My experience with WWE molded me in those super important and formidable years of my young adult life. I was thrown into the fire with no experience and a whole lot of opportunity in front of me. I learned that I am capable of rising to the occasion, even if it means falling on my face, like a lot, in front of everyone along the way. I'm happy that wrestling still has a place in my life, and it always will. I'm even happier to do it on my own terms. I managed to get one photo last night. The entire day was one big blur. Now, it's good to know that Caitlyn really enjoyed herself at the Raw reunion, and that all the legends enjoyed themselves at that Raw reunion. And staying on the topic of the Raw reunion episode from a couple days ago, during Sean X-Pac Waltman's recent podcast, him and Scott Hall discussed the DX vs. Club segment on Raw reunion and how Ricochet was originally supposed to be in Rollins' spot. Scott Hall said, "It was the perfect spot for him because we would have given the rub to him. Yeah, you bunch of haters, it was going to be Ricochet and we were trying to elevate him. What people don't realize is that everybody in that room when it was presented to us said, well geez, kind of burying those guys, it was addressed and it was overruled. X-Pac said, we said it, it's just like, what are you going to do? Say no, we're not going to do it? You can check out the full podcast on YouTube, just type in X-Pac 12360, Scott Hall, guest, backstage at Raw Reunion to listen to that, and thanks to ProWrestlingSheet.com for the quotes. During his recent Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross talked about why he turned down an offer to appear at the Raw reunion from a couple days ago. Jim Ross said, well, it wasn't in anger that I refused or turned it down. I appreciated the opportunity to come back to Tampa to see all my buddies and so forth. There's a couple of things that led to this decision, and the main thing for me was if I had gone there, there would be a certain segment of the social media society that would have said, uh-oh, there's trouble in paradise, JR's looking the bell already, he's already back with WWE, something's wrong with AEW. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with my relationship with AEW. I have a great relationship with Tony Khan, who owns the damn thing. Tony said if you want to go to the Raw reunion, I think you should go to the Raw reunion, if you want to. But I got to thinking about it, and I didn't want to approach the issue of, well, there's trouble in paradise, JR's looking the bell. I've taken on this role with these kids in AEW that I really embrace and I love it. I'm an old coach at heart. There's a lot of kids there who are trying to learn how do we get from being somewhat of a hidden or not mass appeal indie star to going to the next level and becoming a star on a live weekly international TV show in October on TNT. I'm wondering what message I would have sent to these younger guys. JR's our guy, he's been preaching unity, he's been preaching teamwork, and he goes back to the big evil empire and for a one-night stand, for a payday. The reason was I didn't want to send a mixed message to the young kids I'm trying to mentor and get them in a locker room mentality, and even though Tony was trying to accommodate me, Tony Khan, I didn't want to take advantage of his generosity. It just didn't seem to be the right fit. I wasn't angry about it. I really appreciated Vince taking the time out of his schedule to contact me because he didn't have to. He could have had a million minions that he could have done it. And a lot of them would have liked to because if I had said no, then they could run back to Vince and say, he's not coming, JR turned us down, let's pile on the SOB and let's get the dirt going. So that's the reason. I thought it was sending a mixed message to the locker room that I'm currently in, and I didn't want that to happen. I'm glad they did it. It was cool. I appreciate Vince thinking of me, but it just didn't seem like the right thing to do in my current role, even though my current boss said go. I just didn't think that it was the right thing to do for that locker room and those young kids that are looking up to me to give them advice and guidance. Good old JR continued on by saying, I want to be loyal to my brand and my team and those kids that are looking up to me for guidance and advice and support and positive motivation. I didn't think going to Raw was a positive motivator for the 20-somethings in our locker room who are still wide-eyed and bushy-tailed trying to figure out what the hell I'm getting myself into. Thanks to lordsofpain.net for the quotes. In an interview with ESPN.com, CM Punk addressed rumors about him possibly joining All Elite Wrestling. CM Punk said, I know they like to talk about me a lot. If I text Matt Jackson, hey, have a great show tonight, which I did when they had their big show in Vegas, that somehow turns into Tony Khan telling people he has a great relationship with me. I've said in the past, I've talked to them, but nothing ever came of anything. I think if there's an expectation, it's purely been built by them. My silence to some fans means something. They're trying to read the tea leaves, but there's nothing to read. I even feel like talking about it may feel like I'm putting some sort of negative slant on it, but I'm really not. The fact is, I know they've teased me by doing advertisements and stuff like that, and if anybody is going to get mad, it's at me because I don't show up. Well then, I don't know what to tell you. That's one of the things that's none of my business. They do videos where they talk about me, they're constantly talking about me in the media, and again, maybe this sounds like I'm badgering them, but I'm not. It's just something that happens. I'm a popular guy to talk about, but I'm not doing interviews talking about them. If people ask me about it, I say no, I won't be there. Punk also had the following exchange regarding text messages that were sent to him. CM Punk said, "The last thing I got a text from Cody Rhodes, and again, I almost don't even know how to reply to them sometimes, because if I reply, they do interviews and are like, oh yeah, I just talked to Punk. I'm kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't. I always think if somebody wants to do business with me, they can come talk to me. Texting offers isn't really a good way to do business, at least." ESPN asked Punk, was it an offer via text? And Punk said, it was texted through Free People and an offer came in through text. This is like a month ago maybe. ESPN said, an offer for All Out? Punk said, I think it was just a general offer. I never could have done the last one in Vegas, talking about Double or Nothing, because I was in California for CFFC. And finally, here on Jammin' John's Wrestling News, it is now time to announce the results of the latest special subscriber poll. That poll being, what do you grade the Raw reunion? Did you think it was awesome, good, bad, or monkey crap? And with 3 votes, it's a unanimous good. I want to read some comments from my Patreon subscribers. Ryan Hurdle commented and said it was fine, but it was also such a desperate ratings attempt. And Tony Nelson commented and said, agreed, the pandering was way too obvious. I enjoy seeing new names, but I'm putting over the current talent. Mick Foley did great putting over the Fiend. I would have liked to see the club taking down some members of the Clique instead of running away. It would help build the club's credibility. I definitely agree with that. I would have loved to seen the club lay out some members of DX to build their credibility. I hate when they do these special episodes of Raw and SmackDown and you got a cool, amazing faction like the club or, you know, a tag team, and then out of nowhere, here comes DX, or here comes the Bushwhackers, or, you know, APA, and they absolutely bury this new team that's out there, you know, or a team that just recently got back together. You know, I feel like it damages more than anything. So that's the way that I feel about it. I've never been a big fan of that, and I gotta agree with that. Let's go ahead and announce the latest special subscriber poll, and I just got through talking about CM Punk, and CM Punk is saying, yeah, I'm not going to really do this, but it's pro wrestling, you never can tell, so I'm going to go ahead and ask this to my subscribers. Will CM Punk return to wrestling at All Out? Yes or no? You can go vote right now if you're a subscriber at patreon.com/JamminJohn. If you're not a subscriber, what are you doing with your life? Go to patreon.com/JamminJohn right now to subscribe to me. Let me go over the packages very quickly with you, because I have packages that are free to $7. The first one is the Mark package, that is the $3 package. You get access to Patreon-only polls with the results being announced on JJWN as the special subscriber poll, and you get a shout-out for donating at the end of every daily update. Then you have the Smart package, which is $5. You get access to the polls, the shout-out, and the ability to ask me any pro wrestling question for answering right here on JJWN. And then finally, you got the Jobber package, which is $7. That gets you access to the polls, the shout-out, the ability to ask me the pro wrestling question, and the latest episode of JJWN will be uploaded along with a download link so that you can listen at any time. You can go to patreon.com/JamminJohn today if you're interested in subscribing to me. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. That is your news for Thursday, July 25th, 2019. Check back here tomorrow for another Jammin' John's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, and Player FM. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, the Jammin John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin John's wrestling news or your wrestling promotion, want to get your next big event out, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/JamminJohn. I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7, like I said a couple of moments ago. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJohn. This is Jammin John saying thanks, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.